The moment she exited her modest cabin at Frosthelm Peaks, Europe's most luxurious ski resort, she faced ridicule for her financial situation. Her worn puffer coat, used skis, and a homemade wool hat gave the impression of a misplaced equipment handler. "That's the billionaire's girlfriend?" Someone scoffed. "I thought she was carrying the ski boots." The details of her past as a national athlete were unknown. She had been disqualified from the Olympics following a fabricated doping scandal engineered by the father of the heiress now facing her. Elise Wren stood in the cold scrutiny of the elite, her hazel eyes unwavering, her silence sharp. Their intention was to disgrace her, to break her amidst the snow, but within 20 minutes she would create a lasting story in the Alps with a run so flawless it would destabilize their world, and her billionaire partner would undermine their fortunes. Who was this girl, and what fire would she unleash on these slopes? Frosthelm Peaks was a fortress of snow and splendor, its slopes glistening under the alpine sun like a sheet of polished crystal. Situated in the heart of the Alps, it served as the ultimate playground for billionaires, global celebrities, and European royalty, where a single-day pass cost more than a luxury car. Chalets with glass walls were situated on cliffs, their fireplaces providing a warm glow, as brands such as Chanel and Prada filmed their winter advertising campaigns on the perfectly groomed slopes. The atmosphere was crisp, filled with the aroma of pine and affluence, with each guest embodying significant influence. Gondolas operated above, transporting fur-draped heiresses whose attire cost more than their bespoke skis. Security neutralized paparazzi drones, yet a live broadcast shared the resort's every moment globally, showcasing the elite within their frozen domain. Just past the velvet ropes, Elise Wren's father, a retired ski instructor, observed on his phone, his aged hands trembling, his gaze fixed on his daughter's face. Elise emerged from a modest cabin, her white puffercoat wrinkled, her used skis marked but dependable. Her chestnut hair was tucked under a hand-knit wool hat, a few strands drifting in the wind, and her hazel eyes held a subtle intensity. At 26, she possessed a striking beauty, not the refined elegance of the privileged, but the natural allure of someone raised amidst Montana's untamed landscapes. Her father had initiated her in the art of skiing before she could even write her name, his voice calm and reassuring. He imparted the wisdom: the mountain doesn't care about your gear, it honors your heart. Elise had previously competed as a national-level skier, with her name once considered for the Olympics, before a fabricated doping scandal, orchestrated by a powerful man, dashed her aspirations. Now she stood beside Noah Marchand, her presence a spark in the frost, her simplicity a contrast to the resort's opulence. Noah, at 28, was a commanding figure in a tailored black ski jacket, his dark hair swept back, his green eyes sharp as emeralds. At just the youngest age on the Forbes Top 10 list, he had transformed Marchand Technologies into an empire valued at $180 billion, his name opening every door. He presented Elise as his girlfriend, his voice being warm yet firm, and his hand resting gently on her shoulder. The audience became still, their murmurs filled with negativity. "Her," a woman in a mink coat exclaimed, her voice audible on the live stream. "She appears as if she came from a thrift shop." Elise adjusted her hat, her expression calm, though the atmosphere was charged with disapproval. Noah's jaw clenched, but he remained quiet, relying on Elise's resilience. The privileged perceived a vulnerability, and they attacked swiftly. Natalia Van Cleve, a member of a prominent global banking family, stood close by, her platinum blonde hair reflecting the light from a $5,000 fur hat. Noah's former girlfriend and classmate, she had never forgiven him for his choice of Elise. She scrutinized Elise with a deliberate gaze, her smile sharp and pointed. "Noah, you brought your little sister?" she asked, her voice carrying to the grandstands. A wave of laughter, pointed and unkind, followed as phones began recording Elise's worn coat. Natalia and her group, dressed in expensive ski clothing, laughed, one of them throwing a snow-covered glove towards Elise's feet. "Pick it up, valet," she said. Elise carefully stepped over the glove, her hazel eyes meeting Natalia's gaze, her expression calm despite the quickening of her pulse. Natalia Van Cleve advanced, her $5,000 fur hat creating a shadow, and her voice sharp and cutting. "You're a disgrace to Noah's legacy. she declared, her words audible on the global live stream. That coat, those skis, did you find them in a dumpster? You'll never belong here. The clicking of her heels resonated, accompanied by cruel laughter, as phones focused on Elisa's wrinkled puffer. You're a nobody. Benefiting from his reputation, Natalia added, her smirk particularly pointed. Noah warrants a queen, not a beggar. Elisa's fingers pressed firmly on her skis, her hazel eyes reflecting a hidden determination, yet her expression stayed calm. Her father's hands shook on the live stream. The personal attack felt like a blow to his daughter's value. The audience's anger surged, their hearts aching for Elise, furious at Natalia's calculated attack on her identity and love. Her father's face on the live stream contorted, the insult feeling like a blow to his honor, and the viewers reacted with palpable anger. The grandstands hummed as Elise approached the lift, her knit hat visible amongst the crowd. Ethan Caldwell, a son of a tech entrepreneur, rested against a barrier, his $10,000 skis situated nearby. Wait, isn't she Noah's girlfriend? He scoffed, the sound audible on the live stream. Sweet face, but she resembles a life-size IKEA doll. Laughter from his friends cut through the cold air. Did she take the wrong exit? One asked. Another, Lila Voss, a model, remarked, I thought Noah only dated supermodels. It seems his preferred type has shifted to inspirational stories of a poor girl's struggles. The group erupted in noise, their phones illuminated as they composed captions. Hat Frost Helm Flop. Elise walked steadily, her face composed, her silence acting as protection from their criticism. As Elise neared the ski lift, the disdain of the wealthy escalated into a calculated display of aggression. A group of heiresses, dressed in ski suits costing $15,000, arranged themselves in a semicircle, their voices laced with scorn. Look at her, feigning Noah's status, one remarked, flinging a snow-covered mitten towards Elisa's feet. Return to your cabin, pauper. Another brandished a phone adorned with diamonds, declaring, she's a laughable bargain. I bet she's only ridden a sled. Mobile phones illuminated, displaying harsh livestream posts. A malfunction with a helmet visor, magnified through zoom, focused on her used skis. A technology magnate in a tailored parka exclaimed, she's tarnishing Noah's reputation. The audience's amusement felt like a public condemnation, every comment a strike against Elisa's quietness. Her father's expression on the live stream conveyed distress, each insult a blow to her dignity. The spectators' anger escalated, their pulses racing, angered by this group's unwavering brutality. The audience's anger intensified, their hearts aching for her dignity. A collection of skiers, their boots shining, assembled close to the lift, their hushed tones sharp as shards of ice. She's a charity case, one remarked, the words audible on the live stream. Noah's slumming it for PR, another added. A discarded lift pass was thrown towards her, accompanied by the words, clean that up, boot carrier. The paper slid across the snow, lightly touching her boots, but Elise remained still. Her father's hands trembled visibly on the live stream, tears reflecting the light, yet he remained focused. Noah's companions, a group of venture capitalists dressed in tailored outfits, spoke quietly amongst themselves, their voices audible. Noah's lost it, one commented. Bringing a newcomer to Frosthelm? She's damaging his reputation. The derisive laughter grew louder, each syllable feeling like a blow to Elisa's heart. She straightened her posture, her hazel eyes flashing, but her smile remained unchanged. A Frosthelm lift operator, his branded jacket gleaming, joined in the teasing, his voice laced with condescension. Miss, this isn't the rental shack, he said, loud enough for the crowd to hear. Your gear's a safety hazard. Perhaps stick to the beginner's slope. He indicated her second-hand skis, his smirk reflected by nearby guests. We don't allow skiers with donated equipment on Death Curl, he added, prompting laughter from the elite. The phones illuminated, recording Elisa's composed expression, with captions appearing as ski reject. The crowd's acceptance felt oppressive, their elitism a visible humiliation. Elise straightened her knit hat, her hazel eyes unwavering, but her father's live stream displayed his face collapsing, and the staff's involvement suggested a new betrayal. The audience's anger escalated, their fury at this institutional cruelty of fire threatening to explode, wanting Elise to retaliate. Natalia took advantage of the situation, her voice echoing across the slope. "Elise, if you're truly here to ski, let's add some stakes," she said, her laugh sharp as the snow. "One rundown death curl. The legendary slope, exclusively for professional athletes. If you win, I'll offer a sincere apology and donate $2 million to a charity of your choice. But if you lose, you'll remove your gloves, kneel in the snow, and tell the press, I'm not worthy of Noah Marchand." The crowd reacted sharply, their phones raised, anticipating Elise's potential embarrassment. Noah moved forward, his voice firm. "Enough, Natalia," he said. Elise squeezed his hand, her expression calm. "Let them wager," she replied quietly. "But if I succeed, they depart this mountain and they refrain from mentioning me ever again." The resort's live stream transformed into a virtual battleground, broadcasting the elite's derision to millions. Comments appeared, guests posting in real time their captions of public shaming. "Hat Frosthelm freak," one read, focusing on Elise's hand-knit hat. Someone claimed she was a fraud, a post shared by a royal's niece. A guest shouted, "Bet she bribed her way in with Noah's money," sparking laughter that echoed across the slope. The livestream comments flooded with demands to ban her. "Loser," a woman in a $12,000 ski suit called out. "She's humiliating Noah. Someone stop this." Elise's hands remained steady, her hazel eyes fixed on the peak, but her father's face on the livestream was a study in agony, each digital jab a blow to his daughter's pride. The audience's anger was palpable, their hearts with Elise, longing for this global shaming to cease, their fury at its magnitude a burning pain. The arena exploded with derisive laughter, the elite's contempt a powerful surge. Death Curl was a formidable challenge, its name a caution to all but the most skilled. The crowd's taunts followed Elise to the lift, their phones recording her every movement. A Russian oligarch's daughter, wrapped in sable, shouted, "She'll fail before the first turn." Laughter rippled through the group, their diamonds flashing in the light, with one person exclaiming, "Bet she's never seen a slope like this." The livestream commentary rapidly increased, with messages reading, "She's done. Poor girl fail." Ethan Caldwell rose to his feet, his voice carrying across the area. "Why is she even here? This is our mountain, not a welfare run." The onlookers responded with cheers, their sense of privilege forming a barrier around Elise. A ski instructor, having received payment from Natalia, subtly altered the slope's configuration, directing Elise's run toward a dangerous area of hidden ice and unprepared terrain. Elise examined her skis, her braids moving, her hazel eyes focused on the peak. The audience's anger simmered, their fury at this planned cruelty a palpable presence. Natalia's scheme was in place. As Noah was diverted by a phone call from his board, the handler altered Elise's route, guaranteeing she would encounter a perilous situation no inexperienced skier could navigate. Natalia perceived Elise as merely a pleasant girlfriend accompanying him, her borrowed equipment seeming to confirm her lack of expertise. She was unaware that Elise had previously been a national skier, her name permanently recorded in junior championship records. At 19, Elise had emerged as a rising star, her skiing characterized by grace and fluidity, until Natalia's father, who was then president of the Ski Federation, manufactured a doping scandal to facilitate the advancement of his daughters. The accusation destroyed Elise's Olympic aspirations, effectively ending her career through deceit. Now, she stood at the summit of Death Curl, her skis firmly planted, her heart ablaze, oblivious to the ice that lay beneath. Elise sped down the slope, her white coat aflash against the snow, her skis carving through the powder. The audience fell silent, their phones raised, anticipating a fall. Death Curl was a formidable challenge, steep and winding, with precipices that made experienced skiers hesitate. The initial concealed patch of ice appeared, a treacherous hazard intended to unbalance her. Elise detected the change, her body leaning low, her skis grazing the side. She executed a 360 twist, her braids swirling, completing the maneuver with a sharp eagle landing that seemed to break the laws of physics. The audience reacted with a collective intake of breath, their previous amusement silenced. Coaches from the training area below rose to their feet, their clipboards momentarily discarded, to applaud. Elise's speed was overwhelming, each movement demonstrating exceptional skill, her used skis a challenge to those who doubted her. The live stream viewership surged. Who is she? This is unbelievable. The second obstacle appeared quickly, a rough section of unprepared ground with rocks partially hidden by snow. Elise moved with fluidity, her form a graceful line as she descended the slope. She navigated the hazard with ease, the sound of her skis filling the air, her hat remaining secure against the wind. The audience fell silent, their phones visibly vibrating as Elise launched off a ramp, executing a double-twist aerial and landing with a flawless technique that resonated through the mountain. The coaches cheered loudly, their applause joined by professional skiers who paused their runs to observe. Natalia's smile disappeared, her fur hat shifted, and her eyes widened in surprise. Ethan's jaw dropped, his confidence fading. The comments on the live stream exploded with praise. She's a goddess. Elise's father, observing from his phone, was overcome with emotion, a silent sense of pride as his daughter reasserted her identity. The final segment presented a formidable challenge, a constricted, inclining path featuring a sharp turn that had previously defeated skilled competitors. Elise moved, her skis a streak of motion, her form unified with the mountain. She approached the turn, her ski edge gripping the snow, her velocity obliterating the resort's previous record. The official sensors indicated her time, 1 minute and 47.2 seconds faster than any run in Frosthelm's history. She skidded to a stop, her breathing controlled, her hazel eyes scanning the spectators. The grandstands felt desolate, the elite's disdain seemed spectral, their phones ignored. Natalia remained motionless, her complexion wan, her influence diminishing. Media crews adjusted their cameras, documenting Elise's victory, as livestream viewers erupted in online discussion. She dominated them. #Frosthelm Queen. From the base, Noah observed, a surge of pride filling him as his green eyes followed the woman who had just set a new standard for the mountain. As Elise came to a stop, the coaches' applause rose to a resounding ovation, their respect washing away the skepticism of the established skiers. A seasoned Olympic trainer, his silver hair gleaming in the sunlight, approached. Elise Wren just skied like a world champion, he announced, his gaze fixed on Natalia. Her talent was obscured by deception, and today, she has rightfully recovered it. He addressed the crowd, his expression serious. Those who had ridiculed her ought to feel remorse. Natalia's complexion paled, her fur hat dropping onto the snow, her rein faltering in the face of Elise's victory. The live stream recorded her astonishment, with comments appearing rapidly. She's finished. #EliseLegend. The coaches raised their hands, confirming Elise's record as official, establishing her name as an enduring legacy on Frosthelm. Elise stood confidently, her knit hat a modest symbol of her triumph, her victory sharply diminishing Natalia's self-assurance. The audience erupted in cheers, their spirits lifting as Elise's skill silenced her detractors, her performance a symbol of fairness. Elise grasped the microphone, her voice strong and unwavering, piercing the quiet like a sliver of ice. I was removed from Olympic selection after your father invented a doping accusation against me, she stated, her hazel eyes fixed on Natalia, but I no longer desire gold medals. I simply needed to defeat you, to demonstrate that intelligence isn't dictated by your financial resources. A hush fell as the onlookers shifted, their previous harshness evident. Noah advanced, his hand gently touching hers, his voice firm and decisive. My family is withdrawing all investments from the Van Cleve Bank, he declared, his eyes gleaming intensely, and you are permanently prohibited from entering any resort managed by my corporate network. Natalia visibly faltered, her fur hat slipping, her family's power seemingly threatened. The repercussions were immediate. Ethan Caldwell walked slowly toward the lodge, his $10,000 skis unused, and his group avoiding his attention. Lila Voss attempted to dismiss the situation, but her modeling contract was already being reconsidered, her sponsors concerned by the reaction to the livestream. The Russian oligarch's daughter, who had wagered on Elise's fall, quietly left, her sable coat unable to block the rumors. She lost everything. The instructor responsible for manipulating the slope was dismissed immediately, his badge taken, and his career finished. The stands emptied, the elite resigned, their exclusivity shattered by the girl in the wrinkled coat. The Frosthelm crowd, once a wall of scorn, now stood in awe, phones down, and the former brutality was a bitter memory. A young skier who had been silent until then approached Elise, her voice trembling. "I was wrong to be silent," she said, her eyes shining. "You are what this resort should honor." The others joined her. The applause soared and the tide of respect drowned their past insults. The live stream documented the change, with comments rapidly appearing. "She transformed the mountain." #Elise serves as an inspiration. Ethan Caldwell's confidence crumbled, his $10,000 skis unused, his group dispersing as their embarrassment went viral. Lila Voss retreated, her modeling career suffering, her ridicule now a visible mark. The Russian oligarch's daughter remained isolated, her sable coat offering no protection from the murmurs. She wagered against a queen. Elise's talent burned brightly, fundamentally changing Frosthelm, her victory a lasting condemnation of those responsible. The audience's hearts pounded, their frustration evolving into pride, Elise's performance becoming a legendary tale that silenced her critics. Noah's companions, who had previously ridiculed Elise's abilities, dispersed, their investments wavering under Marchand's sway. The live stream gained worldwide popularity, Elise Ren dominating social media, her run establishing itself as a legend. Noah embraced Elise, speaking softly, his words intended solely for her. "You didn't need to prove anything," he said, his hand brushing her cheek. "You were always enough." Elise smiled, her hazel eyes softening, her knit hat a quiet crown. The resort's leaderboard was updated, her name now etched at the top. Elise Ren, death curl record, 1 minute and 47.2 seconds. Coaches approached, their respect palpable, one whispering, "You should have been at the Olympics." The live stream captured their embrace, comments appearing rapidly. "She's a queen," Noah and Elise. The mountain's structure changed, its entrances becoming more accessible, its essence transformed by a girl who'd skied past deception and ended it all with a flawless run. 2 days after Elise's run, a video of it became widespread online, with the caption, "Never judge a skier by her gear." The internet reacted strongly, her name becoming a symbol for those who are overlooked. Noah and Elise stood together, holding hands, their future representing a commitment to honesty. She faced ridicule and emerged a legend, not through victory, but through unwavering integrity. Frosthelm Peaks was no longer exclusive, it belonged to her, a testament to a young woman in a hand-knit hat who had inspired the Alps. Legendary skiing doesn't require expensive equipment, and genuine love isn't found in material possessions. It's found in staying true to what's important. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. And tell us in the comments, what would you do if you were Elise? A mother experienced embarrassment the moment she entered the parent-teacher meeting at the prestigious international school. Due to her cotton shirt and worn flats, she became the subject of ridicule among mothers with red lipstick and designer handbags. One inquired if she worked in the cafeteria, and another laughed, suggesting she had entered the wrong room. 15 minutes later, her billionaire husband arrived. Hillside Academy was situated on a carefully landscaped hill in San Francisco, its glass and steel campus symbolizing prosperity and aspiration. With a yearly tuition of $80,000, it attracted tech executives, hedge fund managers, and established wealthy families. Students arrived in Teslas and Range Rovers. Parent-teacher conferences were an impressive event, taking place in the auditorium beneath a high, curved ceiling, with chandeliers scattering light over rows of velvet seating. The parents entered as if attending a Met Gala, adorned in silk blazers, their stilettos clicking, Hermes Kelly bags swaying, and the air scented with Creed perfume. Their jewelry, including Cartier and Van Cleef pieces, shimmered like a personal constellation, and their murmured conversations held an air of authority. This was a setting where social standing was the accepted measure and nonconformity was heavily discouraged. Clara Vale entered through the double doors, her white cotton shirt tucked into straight-leg trousers, her faded gray flats making no sound on the polished floor. At 32, She possessed a quiet beauty, with emerald eyes that conveyed warmth and strength, dark hair arranged in a neat bun, her face unadorned and glowing naturally. She held a small notebook and a scuffed iPhone 8, her only adornments a simple wedding band and an aura of calm, unwavering poise. Clara, the daughter of a retired librarian and a carpenter, grew up in a modest Oakland bungalow. However, she was secretly married to Ethan Vale, a billionaire tech founder whose $200 million donation had rebuilt Hillside's campus. She prioritized a simple life, her wealth connected to Ethan's $10 billion empire, while maintaining a love for teaching art part-time and raising their daughter, Lily. She had come today to address Lily's difficulties, her heart calm but burdened. The auditorium resonated with carefully managed conversations, parents enjoying sparkling water from crystal glasses, their Rolexes reflecting the light. As Clara took a seat in the rear rows, the parents, adorned in Chanel and sparkling with Cartier, made her arrival a pointed display. Vanessa Holt, the venture capitalist's wife, rose and indicated Clara's flats, proclaiming, "Did she borrow those from the school's lost and found?" A wave of applause filled the air, accompanied by the sparkle of diamond rings as attendees captured images and shared them within the Hillside Royals WhatsApp group. Diana Crane, relaxed and dressed in Gucci, playfully tossed a discarded napkin at Clara, saying, "Use this for your resume." Lila Pierce, the technology CEO, remarked, "She's an embarrassment to Hillside's reputation." Simultaneously, phones recorded the scene, with video clips appearing on Instagram stories alongside captions such as "Scholarship Scrub." Elise Tate, her fur stole swaying, smirked from the sidelines, her silence seeming to approve of the attack. The laughter surged like a wave, each taunt a new injury to Clara's pride, but she remained upright, her emerald eyes steady, her notebook held close. The posts received 30,000 views, each share a public humiliation of her dignity. Clara took a seat in the back row, her notebook resting on her lap, her eyes surveying the room. As Clara took her seat, the parents' derision escalated into a harsh display. Vanessa Holt, her Chanel suit reflecting the light, rose and brandished a $5,000 Mont Blanc pen, exclaiming, "Did she borrow this from the janitor's cart?" The crowd reacted with uproar, their diamond bracelets sparkling as they shared posts to the Hillside Royals group with the caption, "Hammer Charity Case." Diana Crane, her Gucci dress catching the light, threw a sugar cube from her coffee tray at Clara, taunting, "Here for your next thrift store run." Lila Pierce, her Rolex catching the light, declared, "She's a stain on Hillside's legacy." Elise Tate, her first stole moving with her, recorded the event, her Instagram live accumulating 40,000 views with comments such as, "Ban her," and "She's embarrassing." The taunts formed a planned attack, each word a new wound to Clara's dignity. However, she remained composed, her emerald eyes unwavering, her notebook a quiet defense. The video circulated, each interaction a public reprimand, to her pride. Amidst Vanessa's taunts, the school staff became involved, transforming Clara's situation into a public spectacle. A counselor, Tara Lee, positioned close to the stage, seized a program and brandished it, loudly asking, "What's this, your application to clean the halls?" The parents laughed, Diana recording, her live stream caption reading, "Had Hillside Hobo." Another staff member, Dean Paul Carter, added, "She thought she could integrate with us?" Marcus Tate exclaimed, "Check her bag. I bet it's full of thrift store receipts." The footage went viral on X, garnering a meeting with Had, and accumulating 40,000 retweets. Clara opened her notebook, displaying only lesson plans, but Tara threw it back, whispering, "Trash," just like her outfit. The shaming was a calculated display, the staff's hostility intensifying the elite's disdain. Clara's flats remained still, her emerald eyes flashing with discomfort, but her silence persisted, a silent resistance against the crowd. The posts circulated, each view a painful blow to her self-respect. Vanessa Holt, a venture capitalist's wife with 300,000 Instagram followers, and mother dressed in a red Chanel suit, observed Clara and expressed a derisive smile. She remarked to her friend, Diana Crane, a real estate heiress and wearer of an emerald Gucci, "Did someone extend invitations to the cafeteria staff for this gathering?" Diana responded with laughter, her $50,000 Birkin swaying. That's Lily's mom, the student with a full scholarship. Apparently, she originates from modest circumstances. A ripple of laughter went through the room, with phones quietly taking pictures, the images instantly shared in a private WhatsApp group labeled Hillside Royal Scholarships NAFU. Clara remained still, catching sharp comments from the staff table located behind the stage. Paul Carter, straightening his tie, remarked with disdain, "Look at her. I bet she makes her own clothes with a library card." Tara, organizing handouts, chuckled. "She's here to ask for Lily's tuition." A third staff member, a librarian named Mia Holt, commented, "Ms. Veronica is too classy for people like that." Their words were audible as Clara steadied her notebook. An intern, carrying coffee, photographed Clara and shared the image to the staff's Slack channel with the caption, "Hat had lost in luxury." The image was then published on a gossip blog, which quickly accumulated comments such as, "Pathetic. Ban her." Rumors circulated like a backstage betrayal, reflecting the parents' disapproval, every statement a deliberate attempt to diminish Clara's value. Her bun remained tidy, her emerald eyes blazing, yet she continued writing, their negativity unable to shatter her poise. The blog post reached 50,000 views, each comment a new hurt. Clara raised her head, her emerald eyes steady and intense. "Thank you for expressing concern about my family's finances," she stated, her voice gentle but distinct. "Were you examining bank statements to feel superior?" The room fell silent, Vanessa's face reddening, her voice sharp. "Who do you think you are? Just sit there quietly and be thankful, freeloader." The parents nodded, their jewelry making a clinking sound, as if Clara's presence was an insult to their world. Clara's lips curved into a slight smile, her posture unwavering. "Oh, now I understand why your daughter bullies mine," she said, her tone even. "It seems she's picked up that mannerism somewhere." The auditorium grew colder, audible gasps spreading, yet Clara remained seated, her notebook open, her silence a steadfast defense. The taunts continued. While Clara shifted her notebook, she overheard muttered comments from the staff table positioned close to the stage. Mia Holt, the librarian, spoke in a loud whisper. Her clothes clearly indicate food stamps. "How could she possibly sit with us?" Paul Carter laughed. "She's likely here to acquire additional scholarships." Tara Lee remarked that Ms. Veronica was too sophisticated for her type. Their voices were audible, pointed enough to cause discomfort as Clara was seated just a few rows back. An intern, tasked with arranging chairs, captured a photo of Clara's flats and shared it on the staff's private Discord, with the caption, "Had Hillside Hobo too." The image subsequently appeared on a local gossip site, prompting a deluge of comments, including "disgraceful," "expel her kid." The hushed remarks constituted a planned act of disloyalty, reflecting the parents' contempt, and represented a concerted effort to undermine Clara's value. Her bun remained neat, her emerald eyes glowing with controlled intensity, yet she continued writing, their negativity failing to shatter her determination. The site's post reached 70,000 views, with each comment a new wound. Diana Crane, her Gucci dress gleaming, whispered to Lila Pierce, loud enough for Clara to overhear, "Her daughter's a difficulty, frequently upset in class." She continued, "It's no surprise. She has a mother who can't even dress appropriately for this gathering." Lila Pierce, her diamond studs sparkling, added, "Students on scholarships invariably create drama. These individuals are not welcome." Videos taken on their phones have been shared within the WhatsApp group, now reaching 20,000 views, and attracting numerous comments with calls to remove them. Hillside deserves better. Marcus Tate, a father and tech VP, participated, expressing mockery, suggesting, "Bet she's here to beg for more handouts." The ensuing laughter felt like a surge, and each remark felt like a new hurt, but Clara maintained a composed gaze, her flats firmly planted on the floor, and her dignity served as a defense against their harsh words. Ms. Veronica Blake, the homeroom teacher, stood from her desk. Her navy blazer was sharply tailored, her blonde bob neatly styled. At 40, she was Hillside's key figure, her reputation established by satisfying affluent parents, her $200,000 salary dependent on their satisfaction. Her tone was level yet cold. I want to address a sensitive matter, she stated, her gaze fixed on Clara. Lily has been experiencing frequent crying in class, having difficulty with socializing, and causing disturbances in the classroom environment. Parents acknowledged, Vanessa murmuring, as expected. Clara expressed a subtle frown, her voice remaining composed. My daughter reported being locked out of class, having her lunch concealed, and being pushed in the bathroom, she stated. Ms. Veronica's expression became more intense, her voice carrying a critical edge. Children who experience bullying often contribute to the situation, she observed. You might consider a review of your parenting approaches. A ripple of agreement passed through the room, Diana's Birkin making a sound as she nodded. Ms. Veronica proceeded, her voice distinct amidst the subdued sounds. Following a discussion with the school board, we have decided to suspend Lily for 3 days to prevent further disruption. Parents offered quiet applause. Marcus smirked, saying, Good call. Clara's fingers tightened around her notebook, her emerald eyes briefly reflecting distress, but she remained silent. She retrieved her iPhone, composed a brief message, and sent it. Lily's been suspended because we're not rich enough. The room remained oblivious, their conversations continuing, Vanessa uploading a confident picture to Instagram, with the caption, Hillside Standards. While Ms. Veronica's words lingered, Vanessa Holt initiated a severe online attack. She shared a collection of Clara's difficulties, her apartment being damaged, Tara discarding her notebook, her face showing distress, accompanied by a mocking pop song, and the caption, Poor Mom Struggles at Hillside. Stay in your lane. The video quickly became viral on TikTok, reaching 300,000 views and receiving comments such as, She's a nobody, and Hillside deserves better. Lila Pierce highlighted it on YouTube, stating, This is why we protect our elite spaces. People like her damage everything. The video spread worldwide, each share a new pain for Clara, who saw it on a newsstand tablet outside, waiting for Ethan. Remarks in the auditorium mocked, whispering, She's viral for all the wrong reasons. Their laughter stung, but Clara remained upright, her emerald eyes unwavering, her composure concealing turmoil within. The online harassment campaign targeted her reputation, with Vanessa leveraging Clara's distress to gain attention. Spectators continuously recorded the event, each share a demonstration of Hillside's harshness. The post accumulated 50,000 likes, each a painful blow. Clara remained composed, her shoes still, her heart a silent turmoil poised to erupt. 10 minutes elapsed when the auditorium doors swung open. Ethan Vale entered, his sharply tailored gray suit impeccable, his Italian leather shoes polished, his dark eyes assessing the room. At 35, he was renowned in the tech world, his AI company, Vale Tech, assessed at $10 billion, and featured on the Forbes 40 Under 40 cover. His $200 million contribution had financed Hillside's new library, theater, and STEM wing, his name displayed on the campus gates. The room fell silent, Vanessa's flute dropping, Diana's Birkin falling to the floor. Ethan Vale, Lila murmured, her earrings losing their shine. Adults remained standing, their ornaments appearing less vibrant, as Ethan approached Clara, resting a soft hand on her shoulder. My apologies for the wait, he stated, his tone composed yet authoritative. I am Lily's father, and the individual who invested $200 million into Hillside this year. A stunned silence filled the room. Ethan retrieved a USB drive from his briefcase and gave it to the principal, Dr. Helen Marsh, who stood motionless close by. According to last week's security footage, he stated, his voice devoid of emotion. The footage shows our daughter being forced into a cabinet. A teacher witnessed this incident and did not intervene. His gaze turned to Ms. Veronica, who visibly blanched, her blazer showing signs of distress. You are no longer a teacher, he declared, you are an accomplice. Parents reacted with shock, Vanessa's Chanel suit appearing to droop, and Diana's face flushed. Ethan's entrance didn't just quiet the room, it altered its dynamic. Addressing the parents, his voice was firm, stating that Hillside's funding was being reevaluated, beginning with each family implicated in this situation. Vanessa Holt's online influence significantly diminished as Chanel and Dior ended their partnerships, resulting in a drop to 5,000 followers, and her Pacific Heights penthouse was put on the market to address financial obligations. Diana Crane's real estate business failed, her yacht was taken back, and her Birkin handbags were sold at a pawn shop. Lila Pierce's technological ventures encountered widespread boycotts, and she was effectively excluded from Silicon Valley leadership roles. The National Education Association released a critical report, highlighted in a widely shared article, Hillside Elites Fallen Trending. At a San Francisco charity ball, attendees wore cotton ribbons as a tribute to Clara, rejecting the discredited group. Online platforms buzzed with activity, users sharing they embarrassed Clara. Now they are being disregarded. Clara observed the consequences from her Oakland center, her cotton shirt a symbol of hope, her resolve unwavering as the elite acknowledged her truth. Ethan's influence was sudden and impactful. The implicated parties experienced public humiliation and apprehension about lasting consequences. Ethan's USB drive triggered a significant legal action, with the Vale's attorneys filing a $75 million lawsuit against Hillside for negligence and defamation, identifying Ms. Veronica, Tara, Paul, and Vanessa as co-conspirators. The court awarded $25 million, leading to Hillside's financial ruin, a depletion of its endowment, and the sale of its campus to a public trust. Ms. Veronica's teaching career concluded, her assets were seized, and her name became a cautionary example. Tara and Paul were charged with criminal negligence, their reputations irrevocably damaged. The settlement facilitated the Vale Foundation's expansion internationally, initiating anti-bullying programs in Berlin and Sydney, safeguarding 5,000 children. Schools globally embraced Clara's equity charter, eliminating elitist practices stemming from her actions. Forbes published a feature on Clara Vale, the mother who transformed education, with her flats representing resilience. Social media reacted strongly to Clara's triumph, with users sharing posts and celebrating her success in dismantling a corrupt system. At a foundation gala, a student embraced Clara, their future now assured. Clara smiled, her emerald eyes sparkling, her victory serving as a beacon of hope for those unheard. Ethan's influence was substantial, shattering the world of those responsible and burying their legacy beneath Clara's integrity. The WhatsApp group fell silent. The Harris Scholarship's incident videos were quickly removed in a flurry of anxiety. Clara stood up, the light illuminating her cotton shirt, her green eyes scanning the room, connecting with each person. "I'm not seeking apologies," she stated, her voice firm and resolute. "I simply hope that, following today's events, you will instruct your children to be respectful individuals, rather than cultivating a mindset that values people based on their wealth and possessions." She then faced Ms. Veronica, offering a smile that was outwardly pleasant but subtly sharp. "I prefer a simple style," she stated, "not because of any financial limitation, but because I felt no need to demonstrate anything to others." The room felt empty, the parents appearing diminished, their affluence rendered insignificant. Clara's words resonated like a judgment, her composure a subtle dismantling of their self-importance. Clara offered a final, courteous smile, stating, "Thanks to today, I can now clearly identify the genuinely disadvantaged individuals present." The immediate consequences were substantial. By evening, the San Francisco Chronicle published a headline, "Billionaire Donor Exposes Hillside Academy's Bullying Scandal." Footage from a USB, leaked to X, quickly became viral, depicting Lily, a small 9-year-old with Clara's emerald eyes, being shoved into a cabinet by Vanessa's daughter, Harper, while Ms. Veronica walked past with her clipboard. The clip reached 5 million views and generated hashtags such as Hillside, Shame, Trending, along with comments like "Fire them all" and "Protect Lily." Ms. Veronica was terminated, her teaching license undergoing review, and her reputation severely damaged within educational communities. Vanessa's Instagram account experienced a loss of 200,000 followers, while her venture capitalist husband began to create distance between them. Their Pacific Heights mansion was discreetly put on the market. Clara chose to avoid prolonged public attention. A month later, she appeared at a renovated Oakland community center, her own apartment now quiet on the hardwood, establishing the Vale Foundation, a charitable organization dedicated to assisting bullied children and supporting underfunded schools. The initial gala generated $15 million, with Ethan's donation taking a leading role. Clara's cotton shirt had become iconic, appearing in Vogue as the look of courage. She managed every aspect, her notebook containing detailed plans, her iPhone receiving expressions of gratitude from families. Ethan, with his jet at SFO, provided support discreetly, but Clara's vision guided the mission. The center's walls displayed photographs of Lily's new school, a progressive academy where she flourished, her smile radiant. Hillside parents apologized, but Clara focused on change. Her wealth was tied up in Vailtech. Hillside's reputation plummeted. The school board resigned. Dr. Marsh stepped down, her legacy tarnished. Vanessa's daughter was expelled. Her family was rejected by the elite. Diane's real estate deals fell through. Her Birkins were sold to cover debts. Lila's tech firm faced a boycott. Her stilettos became a relic. Marcus lost his role as vice president. His smirk was forgotten. The academy experienced a 30% decline in enrollment. Its chandeliers appeared dim, and its gates served as a stark reminder of Clara's statement. Online platforms celebrated, with hashtags centered on Clara, trending as users shared posts. She refrained from arguing, achieving victory with composure. The Vail Foundation's second event, co-hosted by Clara and Ethan, welcomed 2,000 guests, each a reflection of their shared mission. Clara and Ethan spent evenings at their Marine County residence, where the garden flourished with lavender. She was dressed in a cotton shirt, and he wore a sweater, eschewing a tie. Over tea, they outlined plans, with Clara's notebook open on the table, displaying a recent photograph of Lily at the foundation's launch, her laughter bright. Their love was understated, their resources considerable, but their purpose even greater, dedicated to safeguarding those in need. The world now recognized Clara, no longer simply as a benefactor of scholarships, but as a powerful figure who transformed unkindness into empathy. Clara Vail sought no recognition. She was the core of it all. If you enjoyed this story, please consider supporting us by sharing it, liking it, and subscribing. We'd also love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and tell us what you would have done if you were in that room. She endured a deeply embarrassing ordeal. During her wedding, each step she took down the Montclair Castle aisle felt oppressive, as if crushed under the weight of mocking stares. "Wait, that's the bride," someone derisively commented. They thought she was a member of the staff who was lost. Her dress was simple silk, lacking any embellishments, no shimmer, no train, no designer lace. She proceeded alone, without bridesmaids or family. And beneath the sound of clinking wine glasses arose whispers, cutting like knives. Was she deserted? She isn't suitable to be a billionaire's wife. Perhaps he reconsidered. A marriage arranged for compensation? Then the helicopter arrived. The individual everyone believed would be absent emerged, and in his hand he carried her father's. Montclair Castle stood as a stronghold of luxury. Its aged stones were situated on the cliffs of southern France, where lavender fields bordered the Mediterranean's sapphire glow. This was not simply a wedding location. It served as a prestigious platform for the world's elite. Global financiers, royalty, tech titans, and dynastic heirs were in attendance. These very halls had previously hosted the engagement of Monaco's princess, their chandeliers reflecting a rich history. No press entered through its iron gates, no paparazzi climbed its walls, and no social media presence marred the event. Invitations were meticulously hand-etched on vellum, each name representing a key to power. Rothschild, Windsor, and Musk were present. Crystal flutes clinked, diamonds sparkled, and each guest possessed a significant level of influence. The air was fragrant with rosewater and ambition, and the castle's gardens showcased a display of immense wealth. Away from the exclusive area, a retired schoolteacher observed on a private live stream, his delicate hands shaking, his eyes focused on his daughter's singular poise. Iris Lane entered the castle's magnificent hall, her unassuming silk dress moving gently, crafted by a friend from a Kenyan nonprofit. It featured no crystals, no striking designs, only understated sophistication. Her chestnut hair cascaded loosely, accented by a simple veil, and her hazel eyes held a composure that appeared to quiet the room. At 27, Iris possessed a striking beauty, unpolished by the trappings of high society, and evident in the natural grace of someone who had educated children beneath acacia trees and handled aid contracts in Nairobi's dusty offices. Growing up in a modest New York apartment, she had experienced the loss of her mother to leukemia at 12. Her father, currently struggling with late-stage cancer, was too unwell to journey, his hospital bed a distant reality. She had once envisioned attending Oxford, but instead opted for a career with a nonprofit, her spirit molded by a dedication to service, rather than a pursuit of prestige. She walked alone now, the sound of her used shoes soft on the marble floor, her unassuming appearance a striking contrast to the surrounding opulence of Versace and Dior. The assembled guests shifted as Iris entered, their gazes sharp and critical. Celeste Dupont, a French banking heiress wearing a $50,000 Dior gown, moved closer, her voice laced with scorn. Who permitted the kitchen staff to approach the aisle? She whispered, her words easily picked up by the private live stream. A wave of laughter spread amongst the crowd, diamonds sparkling, as phones were used to quietly record Iris's simple dress. Victor Langston, a tech mogul known for his $10,000 watch, smiled from his seat. She's the bride? I thought she was delivering the cake, he remarked, eliciting laughter from his group. Iris gently touched her veil, maintaining a calm expression, yet the atmosphere was charged with derision. Her father's face on the live stream grew strained, the insults a blow to his pride, and the viewers felt a surge of anger, poised to erupt. As Iris walked down the aisle, the elite's disdain evolved into a planned attack. A flurry of irises and $30,000 gowns created a barrier, their voices a harsh, biting sound. Look at her, assuming she deserves this castle, one remarked, flinging a silk napkin toward Iris's feet. Back to the charity event, darling, another exclaimed, brandishing a phone adorned with diamonds. She's a bride from a thrift store. I bet she's never even witnessed a real wedding. Phones illuminated, their personal messages cruel, referencing Iris as a Montclair outsider, focusing on her pre-owned shoes. A hedge fund tycoon exclaimed, she's dragging this event into the gutter. The crowd's laughter felt like a public execution, with each word a lash against Iris's silence. Her father's face on the live stream showed pain, each taunt a blow to his daughter's dignity. The audience's anger intensified, their hearts pounding, furious at this mob's relentless cruelty. Amelia Westwood, Julian's cousin and a reluctant bridesmaid in a $20,000 Chanel dress, approached, her smirk sharp as a blade. You have no support, she stated, her voice quiet but sharp, intended for Iris's ears only. But perhaps you could make an effort to appear more refined? A Prince of Monaco is seated in the front row. Her companions chuckled, their pearls reflecting the chandelier's glow, their murmured comments a harmful current. A beneficiary, without lineage. Iris straightened, her hazel eyes meeting Amelia's, resolute but with a tremor in her neck. The guests' laughter rose, their disdain a display of shame. Her father's hands trembled on the live stream, tears reflecting the light, but he focused on his daughter's strength. The audience's anger intensified, their hearts aching for her as her reputation was challenged. Amelia's criticisms became more pointed, her voice rising to make sure the live stream captured each phrase. You're a blemish on the Westwood legacy, she declared, her Chanel dress sparkling under the chandeliers. That gown, that veil, did you obtain them from a second-hand store? You'll never be accepted here. The sound of her heels echoed, their laughter a harsh chorus, as phones focused on Iris's simple silk dress. You're a nobody benefiting from Julian's reputation, Amelia stated, her smile sharp and pointed. He deserves a queen, not someone of lesser means. Iris's fingers pressed tighter on her veil, her hazel eyes revealing a hidden strength, though her expression remained calm. Her father's hands shook as he watched the live stream, the personal insult wounding his daughter's sense of value. The audience's anger intensified, their feelings of sadness for Iris growing as they reacted to this calculated attack on her identity and love. The murmurings of the crowd became louder, their sense of privilege creating a protective barrier around Iris. A wife of a Russian oligarch, wearing a $30,000 Givenchy gown, turned to her husband. She commented about Iris's mother's absence, questioning if it was due to a lack of a ticket or funds. Her voice was audible on the live stream. Her friends chuckled, their jewelry sparkling, with one remarking, "It must be a charity wedding." He is engaged in humanitarian efforts, facilitated by marriage. Devices emitted light, subtly recording Iris's plain veil, with accompanying messages appearing in personal conversations, a misjudgment in Hat Montclair. Oliver Crane, the son of a British lord, commented, "She appears to have stepped out of a soup kitchen." Amusement reverberated within the castle's stone walls, each word feeling like a stone thrown at Iris's heart. She straightened her veil, maintaining a steady smile, her silence acting as a defense against their malice. A wave of anger surged through the audience, their outrage at this planned cruelty a palpable force. The castle's employees, accustomed to remaining unseen, participated in the taunting with quiet remarks. A waiter, offering champagne, halted near Iris, speaking softly but clearly. "Miss, the staff entrance is over there," he stated, indicating a side door, his smile reflected in the expressions of other attendees. "We don't generally permit guests to stand at the altar," he continued, prompting laughter from the privileged. Cameras recorded Iris's serene expression, their intimate messages circulating. Wedding fraud, the audience's applause felt like a crushing wave, their self-importance a visible condemnation. Iris straightened her veil, her hazel eyes steady, but her father's live stream showed his face marked with distress, revealing the staff's involvement in a new act of deception. The viewers' anger reached its highest point, their pulses racing at this systemic injustice, their resentment poised to erupt. Upon Iris's arrival at the altar, the groom's absence felt like a new blow. Julian Westwood, the founder of Westwood Intelligence, who controls 40% of the global AI market, was missing. There was no music and no quartet played. The officiant, a silver-haired dignitary in a tailored suit, remained silent, his eyes moving uneasily. The guests looked at each other, their murmurs increasing. Had he abandoned her? A Dutch heiress murmured, her $15,000 earrings shifting. Whispers circulated about him still seeing that Italian model. One person commented, their voice picked up by the live stream's concealed microphones. Perhaps this entire situation was a publicity maneuver, someone suggested. Marry then vanish. Iris remained solitary, her simple dress sharply contrasting with the vacant spot next to her, her hazel eyes focused on the distant view. Her father's expression on the live stream faltered, the rejection a painful blow, and the audience's anger intensified, hoping for this public humiliation to cease. The live stream transformed into a space of harsh judgment, intensifying the elite's disdain for a worldwide audience. Phones illuminated, guests sharing messages in private chats, their comments a public condemnation. Nana Mebride, one read, focusing on Iris's simple veil. "She's a fraud," another posted, disseminated by a royal's cousin. A guest exclaimed, "Bet she paid to wear that gown," which triggered a surge of laughter that resonated throughout the hall. The live stream's hidden comments overflowed with messages like, "Cancel the wedding," and "Imposter." A woman wearing an Oscar de la Renta gown valued at $40,000 loudly protested. Her actions were seen as disrespectful to the castle. Calls for intervention arose. Iris's hands remained composed, her hazel eyes focused on the altar, while her father's expression on the live stream revealed intense distress, each online comment a source of pain for his daughter. The audience's outrage grew, their feelings sympathetic to Iris, hoping for this widespread embarrassment to cease. The castle's employees, accustomed to remaining unseen, subtly participated in the derision. As a waiter passed, offering champagne, he stopped near Iris, speaking softly but clearly. "Miss, the staff entrance is over there," he stated, indicating a side door, his expression echoed by those around him. "We typically don't allow guests to stand at the altar," he added, prompting amusement from the assembled elite. Numerous phones recorded Iris's composed face, their personal messages flying with speculation. Wedding fraud. The collective acceptance felt overwhelming, their sense of superiority a public display of judgment. Iris adjusted her veil, her hazel eyes unwavering, but her father's live stream feed showed his face etched with pain, revealing the staff's complicity in a fresh betrayal. The audience's anger intensified, their hearts pounding at this institutional cruelty, their outrage a fire ready to explode. The whispers grew into a crescendo, The guests scorn a global spectacle via the private livestream. A German tech heiress posted about no-name bride, zooming in on Iris's plain gown. A guest texted, describing her as a nobody, a message shared by a royal's cousin. The wife of a French diplomat exclaimed, "Bet she forged her invitation." This sparked laughter that resonated throughout the hall. The live stream's hidden comments became a torrent. "Cancel the wedding." One read, "Fraud." Another woman, wearing a $25,000 Valentino dress, declared, "She's humiliating the Westwood name." Someone urgently called for an intervention. Iris's hands remained steady, her hazel eyes focused on the altar, but her father's face on the live stream displayed profound distress, each digital interaction feeling like a painful setback for his daughter. The audience's displeasure surged, their emotions with Iris, yearning for this staged cruelty to cease. The quiet lingered, the altar vacant, the guests' presence a constant barrage. Then, a faint hum filled the air, rotating blades cutting through the sky. A helicopter landed on Montclair's back lawn, its black frame gleaming, its roar silencing the whispers. The doors opened and Julian Westwood stepped out, his tailored jacket dusted with snow, his tie undone, a leather case in hand. But the man beside him caused a stir, Iris's father, frail, his hospital gown replaced with a simple suit, his eyes bright with pride. Julian had flown to New York, engaged an international medical team, and arranged the flight to bring him here. A hush fell over the audience, their phones shaking, as the live stream exploded with activity. A collective gasp arose. Was that her father? Iris's hazel eyes grew wide, her breath paused, her composure faltering for the first time. The audience's spirits lifted, their frustration transforming into wonder, the reality a revelation. Julian didn't approach the VIP carpet. He sprinted, visibly running, across the lawn, his shoes disappearing into the grass, his blue eyes fixed on Iris. He arrived at the altar, out of breath, and clasped her hand, his voice strained. "Please accept my apologies for the delay, but I pledged I would always ensure you weren't left unsupported." He addressed the attendees, his expression intense. "This day marks not my wedding, but a ceremony celebrating the individual who enabled me to feel deserving of love." He indicated the officiant, and then exited the dressing room. After 5 minutes, he reappeared wearing a plain white tuxedo, devoid of cufflinks and any unnecessary embellishment. The assembly made way for him, their disapproval diminishing to a distant murmur, their mobile devices momentarily disregarded. Iris's father sat in the front row, wiping away quiet tears, his presence affirming Julian's commitment. The livestream comments flooded in, reading, "This is unreal. Hatch Iris and Julian." The wedding commenced, the atmosphere in the castle's electric with sincerity. As Julian positioned himself beside Iris, he addressed the assembled guests, his voice powerful enough to quiet any remaining murmurs. "You ridiculed my wife, believing her to be inadequate alone," he declared, his blue eyes intensely focused. "Iris Lane remains the core of this castle, and you will be held accountable for your actions." He presented a tablet, showing cancelled agreements, suspended accounts, and terminated collaborations. "Each of you who mocked me, your names are removed from my network," he stated, his eyes fixed on Amelia. "You, cousin, are excluded from the Westwood Empire completely." The assembly reacted with shock, their jewels losing their brilliance, their standing diminishing. Celeste DuPont's banking arrangements collapsed, Victor Langston's technology corporation weakened, and the livestream became viral. Justice prevailed, Ren influence solidified, and Iris remained composed, her simple dress appearing regal, her victory confirmed by Julian's fury. The viewers applauded, their spirits lifted as his power diminished the arrogance of the influential. Iris's history remained unknown, whether to the attendees, not Amelia, or the livestream audience. At 20, she demonstrated exceptional linguistic ability, achieving fluency in 5 languages, and her work with nonprofits in Kenya connected assistance to isolated villages. She instructed children in schools constructed of mud, her earnings just enough to cover rent, her emotional development influenced by her mother's passing and her father's bravery. She encountered Julian at a Nairobi conference, Her translation of a refugee's account inspired him to financially support her organization. Their affection developed discreetly, away from public attention, based on common principles, rather than material possessions. She now stood at Montclair, her simple gown a statement against the elite's perceived disdain, her heart filled with a fierce determination to expose their falsehoods. The wedding ceremony was understated. There was no orchestra, no elaborate floral decorations, only Iris and Julian at the altar, their hands joined. The officiant spoke with a calm voice, his words a solemn promise of commitment, honor, and enduring love. Iris's father stood, visibly weakened but steadfast, and took her hand, leading her to Julian. The guests stood, the memory of their previous harshness a burden they carried, their quietness a strained politeness. Julian's gaze remained fixed on Iris, his self-esteem a suppressed intensity. The live stream recorded their promises, with comments appearing rapidly. "She's a queen, a Montclair miracle." The castle's order changed, its entrances opening further, its essence redefined by a woman who had faced rejection and now seemed beyond reproach. Julian moved ahead, needing no amplification, his voice sharp and clear. "I heard every word that was said, and I am aware of who spoke." He turned to Amelia, his cousin, his expression chilling. "You invoked the Westwood name to disparage my wife? You are hereby removed from every family trust established under my name." Her Chanel dress appeared to droop, her smirk vanished, her standing diminished. He addressed the guests, his blue eyes fierce. "Those of you who questioned her worth, who referred to her as the bride with no name, you are no longer included in any of my future deals. Ever." A hush fell over the assembly, their jewels losing their luster, their power wavering. Celeste Dupont's glass broke upon the marble floor, Victor Langston's timepiece ceased functioning, Oliver Crane's distinction proved insignificant. The live stream rapidly gained global prominence, with Iris Lane dominating social media, her lone walk becoming a celebrated event. The elite's decline was instantaneous, their pride collapsing under Julian's direction. Amelia's complexion paled, her financial resources cut off, her influence dispersing as their humiliation spread online. Celeste Dupont's banking empire encountered sanctions, her derision a public embarrassment. Victor Langston's tech agreements were terminated, his contempt a critical error. The Russian oligarch's wife departed, her Givenchy gown offering no protection from the rumors. She disrespected Westwood's bride. Oliver Crane's lordship was the subject of ridicule, his wagers a humiliation. The employees who had sneered were dismissed, their careers ended. The attendees who had laughed were denied access, their standing diminished. Iris stood beside Julian, her simple veil a quiet crown, her hazel eyes unwavering. The live stream recorded the outcome, comments appearing rapidly, they received what was due. Hail Iris resonated within the audience's hearts, their anger shifting into pride. Iris's victory and Julian's fury, a blaze that consumed the elite's injustice. The repercussions were immediate, a resolution brought without words. Amelia retreated into the castle's shadows, her trust fund depleted, her followers avoiding her. Celeste Dupont's banking empire underwent audits, her disdain a public mark. Victor Langston's tech deals failed, his derision a widely shared error. The Russian oligarch's wife departed, her Givenchy gown offering no protection from the rumors. She criticized Westwood's wife. Oliver Crane's lordship was ridiculed, his wagers a shame. The employees who had sneered were terminated, their identification removed, their careers ended. The attendees who had laughed dispersed, their invitations canceled, their power diminished. Iris stood beside Julian, her simple gown gleaming, her hazel eyes gentle yet firm. The audience's hearts pounded, their anger changing into pride. Iris's victory was a force that consumed the elite's harshness. Iris's father sat in the front row, his tears silent, his suit a gift from Julian. He rose again, took Iris's hand, and placed it in Julian's, his voice a whisper. "You've always been enough." The castle rose, no one daring to remain seated, not because of Julian's power, but because of Iris's eyes. Eyes that had witnessed loss, service, and love, and now radiated a strength that humbled the elite. Julian held her hand, their vows a promise of truth. No tiara adorned her, no $100,000 gown clothed her, but Montclair belonged to her, a monument to a woman who'd walked alone and made the world bow. She possessed no noble name, no dynasty behind her, no diamonds on her wrist. She possessed something unique compared to everyone else at Montclair, a man prepared to abandon everything simply to hold her hand. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more, and let us know in the comments, would you have stood alone like Iris did?